Christmas traditions have been around forever, from delicious family dinners to going to church services, and gift exchange make the holidays an exciting time of the year for many people throughout the African diaspora that attracts not only Christians, but others of different faiths to join in the festivities, despite their belief. Hello and welcome to Our Voices. I am Jeannie Niwa, and I am joined by my wonderful co-host Oriane Intagishaka and Siminish Yekoye. On this week's episode of Our Voices, we will explore the many ways the Christmas holiday is celebrated throughout the African diaspora, regardless of one's religion, and do a little celebrating of our own. Hello, ladies. The Christmas holiday is always a special time of the year. And have you celebrated with your friends, with your family? How do you celebrate it?
Well, before I came to the US, first of all, in Ethiopia, Christmas is on January 7. So December 25 is just like any other day. People go on with their life.
We're coming to your house on the 7th.
On the 7th, yes, that's the day. So on Christmas Day, when I was back in Ethiopia, so people go to church, or either for the night service or for the morning service, and then when they come back, you know, it will be celebrated with families. You know how Thanksgiving is here; everybody will get together. So it's with a lot of food and drinks, and you know, it's a family time. After I came to the US, you know, we try to assimilate. So we still go to church, and we still try to, do the American way. So we have this gift for my son, you know, putting boxes under the tree, and look at Christmas lights, decorate the house. So yeah, that's how I celebrate.
Yeah, that's nice. Well, for me, growing up, one of the most special things about Christmas was getting a new outfit. And that's like for most African kids.
For us, New Year's. So.
Yeah, New Year's.
Yes.
You look forward to that new outfit on Christmas or New Year's. So I was always looking forward to that. And of course, spending time with family, eating a lot of food. And in the US is the same. I grew up here, and the pressure was so much so that giving each other gifts just became so stressful for me in high school. Yes. I decided, you know what, no, I'm just not going to do that. But it's still a time to just get together and show each other love. And of course, for my children, they're still young, but you know, I do get them gifts, but you know, I try to explain to them, and they know that the reason for the season is the birth of Jesus Christ that we're celebrating, even though, you know, it's not really December 25th, but just to show them that, look, you know, this is a time to come together, go to church and be grateful. So we do that, you know, I try really to just focus on the reason for the season, even though there is a lot of things around that holiday. And so
you keep it religious?
I keep it religious, yes. Yeah, nice. Keep it definitely religious.
Back home, France, I remember, I mean, it's still like that. It's very family-oriented, very fancy food, like the French way, you know, seafood, and we go all the way, oyster, yeah, voila. That's very family-oriented. Now here, with my family, with my kids, being just our little family, so it's not as family-oriented, but I feel like it's more like friend-oriented. Whoever you get to know in this country, you know, we try to like, hey, come over, or people who visit New York, or you know, who visit the America, they're around. But I did notice that here it's so like gift-oriented, very materialistic, very you know, like people have a list. They have to make sure that they send it to.
Very important.
Yes, they send gift to people who are like all
every state, grandma, grandpa, grandpa's friend, grandpa's friend's friend.
That's what I try not to lose, like, you know, the spiritual meaning of this holiday. It's about, you know, as Christians, it's about the birth of Jesus, and which I try to remind my son that this is, you know, Jesus' holiday. So even though we are celebrating with all this fun, but the most important part of it is, you know, the spiritual meaning of it.
But there's definitely a commercial part where it's just like party,
which you can't skip. So let's.
And it makes people come together either way. You know, different religions make people just come together.
So let's see how it's back in the continent. Let's go to Senegal, home to the largest mosque in West Africa, and with a 95% Muslim population, is widely recognized for its strict adherence to Islam. And yet, each year at Christmas, streets and city squares are glowing with holiday lights and storefronts filled with decorations and Christmas trees. So how do Senegalese people reconcile their devotion to Islam with their love of the Christian holiday? Annika Hammerslag reports from Dakar.
Street vendors carrying skull caps and prayer beads weave in and out of traffic in Dakar's busy Sandaga market. In this Muslim-majority country, taxi drivers often pull over to pray on the sidewalk, and mosques are found just about everywhere, even on the beach. But come December, Senegal's vendors are also seen peddling tinsel, ornaments, and Christmas trees.
It's mostly Muslims who buy these because we're in a secular country. Everyone is the same. Even during Muslim holidays, Christians participate. It's the same for Christmas, where Muslims will buy Christmas trees as well as the Christians. But it's mostly Muslims.
Christmas decorations light up Dakar's city squares and storefronts. Restaurants and bakeries are decked out for the Christian holiday. Senegal's Christians also celebrate Muslim holidays such as Eid al-Adha, the festival of the sacrifice, known as Tabaski.
We're a big family. Everyone is here. Christians celebrate Tabaski like Muslims celebrate Christmas. It shows that today in Senegal, peace comes first, and there's no difference between the two religions. Each has their principles, but respects the other's beliefs.
Even staff dress for Christmas. Abdou Kadre Diop has fond memories of when his parents would take him to sit on Sene's lap.
It demonstrates the social cohesion that we have in our country. We're united. We're one. When Muslims celebrate their holidays, the Christians participate and vice versa. It demonstrates the social cohesion and the strength of Senegal.
It is still a celebration of the Christian holiday and the unity of this West African nation. Annika Hammerschlag for VOA News, Dakar.
Thanks, Anika, for that report. And yes, we need to see more Black Santa. Now, joining us to share her insight on the theological perspective on how Christmas holidays are celebrated on the African continent is Ekimini Uhan. She's a public theologian, human rights activist, and a 2023 NAACP Image Award nominated author for her book entitled Truth Table, Black Women's Musing on Life, Love, and Liberation. Miss Uwan joins us via Skype from San Francisco, California. Welcome, Reverend Ekimi. Oh, just Miss Ekimi.
Yeah. Thank you for having me, Jenny. I'm so glad to be here with you all, my sisters.
Thank you, thank you. So like we heard in the package, Senegal is a nation that is 95% Muslim. How do you see this, mix of celebrating together? There is no difference. Is that something that's, symbolize the time we're living right now?
Yeah, well, I don't think that is the case everywhere. So I actually think that was very informative to know that Muslims there in Senegal join in to the festivities. It sounds like a lot of them are with regard to Christmas. They're celebrating much more of the peripheral accoutrements that come along with Christmas because of the commercialization of Christmas. So you saw African Santa or Black Santa.
Right.
You saw the Christmas trees on the street, but you didn't hear any mention of Jesus Christ's incarnation or birth or Advent, the very fundamental elements of why we celebrate Christmas. So it sounds like the commercialization, of Christmas is what has been telegraphed to the continent and received more so than the very spiritual aspect with regard to Muslims' participation in the holiday.
So people just love parties, basically. They just love food and parties. Well, before we go to the next question, Ms. Ekimini, reporter Amos Wangwa spoke to women in Nairobi to find out how they celebrate Christmas in Kenya in our Your Voice segment. And we have Carolyn Wanjiru, Evelyn Wambogo, and Xavier Nyatu. Take a listen and we'll get back to hear your take on this.
The first year, I don't have any plans yet. I haven't planned anything. Probably by the end of this week, I'll have known what to do over the Christmas period. I think that is why during the Christmas period, you find that prices are hiking. Okay, they claim like it's, like they're giving offs, But actually, when you check, they have actually hiked prices for traveling, Mombasa, vacations. I feel like it's also an opportunity for people to make money, and that is why people are not traveling as much, because it's very costly, especially when you look at the high cost of living. I think it demands a lot, and people are not able to up their game. Well, just as much as there's a lot of demand to, because of the high cost of living, just do what you can, and whatever you receive, just be content. And I also wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
I don't have any plans as per now because the economy is so tough for us, so I'll just be within Nairobi. Yeah.
Okay, do you think a tradition has changed, like family gatherings, giving of gifts to your loved ones?
I think it's still the same, but due to lack of money and everything, we have to change them. We have to change the traditions and everything. Because you can't expect me to go to the rural areas without money. The rural areas people expect Nairobi people to have money. They don't understand about the lack of money and everything, yeah.
I'm planning to go for a children's home. I guess we will celebrate in a children's home this Christmas. Yeah, it has changed because of this economy. It has. Economy. The economy is...
It's bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
There are some people waiting for it. Some are asking why it's Christmas because they don't have money to celebrate Christmas. Yeah.
Wow, well, let's get back to Ms. Ekimini. Well, as a theologian, we hear how, as you said earlier, the commercialization is definitely there. Do you believe that, in a sense, then that takes away the true meaning of the holiday when it gets so commercialized, when it becomes something else other than what it is? What do you think as a theologian? Is that something to worry about, especially on the Christian community?
Yeah, well, I think that... I think we always have to be very clear and cognizant of the reasons why we're celebrating Easter, right? I'm sorry, Christmas. I brought up Easter, though, subconsciously, because these are the two holidays, right, where there's this mythical, figure that seems to kind of cloud and overshadow sometimes Jesus Christ, the very reason and the centrality, of our faith, the God whom we worship. So with Christmas, it's Santa Claus, right? Then with Easter or Resurrection Sunday, it's the Easter Bunny. And so I think that there's no... Sometimes, everything in moderation, right? So, it's for kids to kind of have a little folklore and a little, just a little fun, ways for them to kind of participate in the holiday. But ultimately, they need to know, and we need to know and remember that it is because of the birth of Christ that Jesus came as a brown-skinned Palestinian child, newborn baby, a Palestinian Jewish baby, to come and save us, from our sins, to come and live the life that we could not live on our own because of sin. And so, and he came and he lived and he died. And so, then he rose again. Right. And that's when we celebrate that in Easter, the reality of Jesus's resurrection. So we don't want to lose sight of that. And so I think that's something that we all have as Christians. If we name the name of Christ, we have to make sure that we keep the main thing, and the main one, which is Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So in addition to the meaning of this holiday, Santa or gift giving is not really a culture of African traditional celebration. But do you see that now pressuring African families on the continent? And what do you think is the result of that?
Yeah, well, I think, it's interesting. When I think about gift giving, I think that we do. I think that, and it depends, right? We're not a monolith. Africans are not a monolith. But I do think that we do give gifts. When we think about African culture and how hospitable we are, by and large, as a people. We come to people's homes. People, come and feed us, and then they give us food to take away with us. So oftentimes we don't come into the home empty-handed. We'll bring banana. We'll bring plantain. We'll give what we have, right? Just to show generosity and hospitality. I think where Christmas is involved, the reason why we give gifts, I think is twofold. One, God sent us the greatest gift by sending his begotten son, Jesus Christ, to come to this earth, to live and to die for our sins. So that is one reason why we give gifts, because we've been given the greatest gift in Jesus Christ. But then the other level and the other reason why we give gifts is because the Magi, the wise men, right? When Jesus was born in Bethlehem, they saw the star, and they came and they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh, right? Giving gifts to the Messiah. So there's a reason why we do that. But when it only becomes about the material gifts, then we can forget about the greatest gift that we've been given, which is our salvation and our faith in Jesus Christ.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes, gift giving is definitely a tradition, but we have to do it without feeling pressured. Yeah. So thank you so much, Ms. Ekimini Uwan, public theologian and also author, for joining us and for sharing your perspective. Let's now take a quick break. When we return, it's time to get festive as we sample delicious food synonyms to Christmas holiday feast on the African continent with award-winning chef Kizzy Nkodia, also known as Bufista. But before that, we ask you to share your thoughts on how you celebrate the holidays on our social media platforms at VOA Africa. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And don't forget to use the hashtag VOA Our Voices. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
In times of change, when the world seems uncertain and what we hear doesn't reflect what we see, we seek the truth. When we are told only part of the story, we lose trust. In moments of crisis, our dreams, hopes, and wishes for a better tomorrow depends on a free press. At Voice of America, we bring you the stories that people take risks to see. We connect the world and unite it with truth. At Voice of America, we show you the whole picture.
Health, wellness, sport, beauty, medical breakthroughs. Healthy Living cares about your well-being. What are the main health concerns in Africa and around the world? Find out the latest on coronavirus. Connect with our experts and ask them questions.
How long does the virus stay?
Join me, Linor Moudou, in Washington every week on Healthy Living, right here on VOA.
You're watching VOA's Red Carpet. My name is Jackson Vunganyi. Thank you so much for joining us each week right here on Red Carpet. We bring you the latest in
Welcome back. You are tuned to Our Voices. We are taking a look at how the Christmas holiday is celebrated throughout the diaspora. Now joining us in our studio is award-winning chef Kizing Kodia, also known as Bufista. Is the owner and founder of Bufista's Kitchen to share delicious food that we usually find on the dinner table on Christmas Day. Originally from the Ivory Coast, she grew up in Silver Spring in the U.S. state of Maryland. Chef Kizing is known for sharing her African heritage and culture throughout food worldwide. Hello and welcome.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi.
So good to have you.
So good to have you.
Thank you.
So you're from different country. Do you so have you been there in Christmas?
Unfortunately, not. Well, I was born and raised in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire, of course, and so yes, from birth to 16, yes, I did spend Christmas in the Côte d'Ivoire, but I've not been able to spend Christmas in Sierra Leone or in Congo.
Oh, so that's great. You're bringing us Africa to the U.S. You know,
oh my God,
it's beautiful.
Food and through the decor.
So what do we have today? What's on the menu?
She went right to it.
Yes, I don't blame you. It smells really good.
Yeah. So growing up in Côte d'Ivoire, achake, which is cassava couscous, and grilled fish were one of my favorite things to eat, and very well known in Côte d'Ivoire as well.
Okay.
So today,
So these are holiday food in Côte d'Ivoire?
well, it's not really holiday food. It's food that you can have all the time. But I felt like because of the garnish and the colors, it kind of speaks holiday to me.
And it smells so good.
Oh, thank you. So we have achake, the cassava couscous. We have grilled red snapper, a little bit of shrimp, a little bit of garnish. You can see the green, the red, the white to remind you of Christmas, a little spicy sauce, and some akara from Sierra Leone, which is banana fritters.
Oh, wow.
And I also have some ginger.
Yes.
So
Thank you. Is that also made traditionally?
really good.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
It's
homemade.
I can smell the ginger too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So should we dig in? I mean, you'll tell us a little bit more about it. And how did you celebrate at holidays when you were back home? Because we do miss the way they celebrate it back home. It's really about the food. It's not about the gifts, right?
I know, absolutely. Let's cheers first.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Cheers, ladies.
So Christmas, celebrating Christmas in Côte d'Ivoire, obviously Christmas Eve, we always went to church. My mom's family is very religious. My grandfather was involved in the church. My mom loves church, so going to church for Christmas Eve service was definitely a must. So that is how we spent Christmas. And Christmas Day was pretty much at home, having some food, sharing some gifts, and spending time with family.
I feel like somehow
thank
similar,
you.
like church and family time is how most African families celebrate Christmas.
Yes.
Do you do that here after you came to the US?
Yeah, so my husband is from Cameroon, and we've been fortunate to be able to spend all of our holidays together during Christmas. So we all gather over a bigger table filled with food from Cameroon, food from Sierra Leone, food from Côte d'Ivoire, and we play games. So all the grandparents are involved, we're involved, our kids are involved, so it's always a great time.
Also an opportunity for young girls to learn how to cook? Because I usually see people in the back in
God.
Africa, like it's a whole thing. People are cooking things.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
Or do they tell them, okay, go? Because sometimes that happens too.
Well, now that our parents are older, we do all the cooking. So we tell them to sit back, relax, get dressed, feel fresh. We take care of the food.
How old were you when you started learning how to cook?
I would say about 18, 18, 19.
Okay, not that young.
Yeah, not that young.
Okay, good.
Yeah, a little
kind
later.
of like me.
Okay.
Like, was it on your own or it was still your
on my
parents?
own.
On your own.
Yes.
Yeah, like me. YouTube?
Some YouTube, yes, and just kind of like picking inspiration from things that I've seen being made or how the food tastes. You know, growing up and eating certain things, you kind of go by your memory of how the food tastes, and you try to, emulate that in the food.
So the African families in the diaspora solicit chefs like you to try to keep some of the African dishes, or do you think that they're assimilated so much that we don't even remember that there are some dishes that we should keep on the table during Christmas or other holidays?
I think from my experience and with my family, we love our African food. So most of the time, we'll have African food, hands down. We'll have some American dishes here and there, but we love our food.
It's an opportunity for
absolutely. Yes.
So while we are still on the cooking, because I'm growing up, my mom used to do all the cooking because all the family members, she has 8 brothers and sisters, they all used to come to our house because she's the eldest. So she does all the cooking. So she spends the whole day cooking. She barely sits with us and enjoys the holiday. Yeah. Do you see that holidays having that pressure on women?
I would say, I feel like now that we're, in the U.S., things are kind of different. For my family, for example, like we're all in our separate homes, and then we gather later. So you spend all the time cooking up front, and then later on, you're spending more time together, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? So you're not really taken away from spending time with family while you're cooking.
And that's, for me, one of the reasons why I really don't do African dishes, because they take a long time.
They take a long time.
One meal can take 4 hours.
Yes.
So what I
4
just...
hours?
Yes,
mean,
ours
the day before.
also 4 hours.
The day before.
So,
the day before.
Well, thank you. We're going to dig in a minute. Before we close today's show, what are your plans for you and your family for the holidays, guys? Yeah.
So this year we are going to Dallas to spend Christmas with my brother-in-law and his wife and their kids. So all of the family in Maryland is flying to Dallas on Sunday morning for Christmas. So we'll different this year, which is great. So we're really looking forward to that.
Wow,
and my mom is packing her pots.
Oh, really? On the plane?
Yes.
Wow, that's so African.
That's so African. Only trust their own plate, their own
pot. See an African lady with pots on the plane, just let her go through, please.
Well, lucky for you, because I will be working in American life. I'll be working the day, but in the evening, I'll be joining my friends and my family, and
In the diaspora is tough because we do want to celebrate and just shut everything down, but
it is tough.
We can't afford.
Yeah. And some of us are lucky to go back home and celebrate Christmas.
That's true.
So
That's true.
Well, I guess that's our show for today.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, I wanted to ask you about, how you decide which meal, for instance, this year you want to make. Is it from an inspiration, just, you just wing it, or are there special dishes that you must make?
I think most times the family dictates, and they're like, I want you to make this for Thanksgiving this year. My mother-in-law was like, oh, you haven't made your achique and your garnish, so that's what we want for Thanksgiving. So,
do you have a signature dish?
I would say the red snapper and the achique is my signature dish, and it's one of my signature dishes, and I make some really good chicken yassa from Senegal.
Well, thank you.
Achique it is.
Thank you.
That is our show today. We want to thank you. We want to thank our guest, the public theologian Reverend Ekimi Uhan, who joined us earlier via Skype from San Francisco, California, and of course our chef Kizin Kodia, also known as Bufista, for this delicious food. Feels like I am back home. To catch up on the latest episode of Our Voices, or to stay up to date with the latest news from around the continent, go to voaafrica.com or our YouTube channel. We will see you again next time with another exciting program. Be sure to continue the conversation on our social media